You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
What we got here is a failure to communicate.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
You know what I mean?
Money to be made in a place like this.
Money never sleeps, pal.
You're crazy. Don't run when you lose. Don't whine when it hurts.
You know what it takes to sell real estate? It takes brass.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
All right, welcome to Money Never Sleeps Radio. This is a show where we talk about anything and everything that impacts the flow of money from around the corner to around the world. And I want to thank you for joining us today as we touch on an area that's near and dear to me, artificial intelligence, technology. I want to talk about this because this year has been a change. 2020 has thrown us a lot of curveballs. It has made technology, certain parts of technology, basically ramp up. Something that would have probably been more impactful in 3 years is now impactful in 3 months. So there are a lot of changes going on. Artificial intelligence is one of them, and I want to, also throw in there big data. Part of artificial intelligence is machine learning. Okay, and look, machine learning is an application of artificial intelligence. It's a part of AI. Machine learning, it needs access to data, big data. You have companies now that have a lot of data. They have a lot of data. The problem with the data is that a lot of it is, not organized. That's a good word. It's there. They have it. It's there, and a lot of companies, believe it or not, they have a problem processing it, utilizing it for higher efficiency. You have some smart people out there, entrepreneurs that are developing platforms that are starting to utilize this, but we're not quite there yet. We'll get there, eventually, but it's a process. Big data, it's not just having the data; it's having the ability to utilize it. All right, and that's an important thing. Up till now, we've been creeping up over the years from 1G to 2G to 3G to 4G, and the implementation of 5G changes things a lot. And the reason I'm saying that is because, let me paint the picture for you. Let's say you're driving on a 2-lane street, and all of a sudden that opens up to a 10-lane highway. That's what I'm talking about. This is what we're talking about, and this is what is happening now. Okay, the implementation of 5G is going to change how data is processed, how it's collected, and how it's utilized, and a whole bunch of other things. The connectivity part of 5G is going to bring the world closer. Believe it or not, you have third world countries that they rely solely on their mobile phones. That's what they have. They go on the internet. They utilize their mobile phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot for their computers if they have a laptop. If they don't, they're using their phone. So the implementation of 5G is going to change their lives. Okay, and all of a sudden, you're going to see, and it's going to happen, mark my words, all of a sudden, over the next few years, you're going to see a lot of technology coming out of places you wouldn't think, because you have some very smart people that are worldwide, and they don't have access to certain technology because, again, the connectivity issue. You had companies like Google and Facebook that were talking about putting balloons up in the air and trying to create that connectivity, and noble effort, no doubt. I mean, you connect people, yeah, sure, it increases your business, but you're giving people connectivity, and that is a key thing, keeping the world connected. No one should be in the dark ages, no one. And 5G is going to change that. You have Samsung and other companies that are talking about 6G. Let's stay with 5G for now. Let's not jump ahead of ourselves. Okay, so machine learning, it's interesting. Machines, they need to learn. They only learn from the data that they have. They have no data, they do not learn. So data has to be collected. All right. Everyone's thinking, oh my God, privacy issues. Well, I'm not talking about personal data. I'm talking about, personal data. I mean, like Google and Facebook and other social media platforms and search engines and e-commerce sites like Amazon and Walmart. They collect your information. They collect your movements, your likes, your dislikes, your this, your that. All of a sudden, you open up an app one day and it's advertising something that you like. That's all AI. This is all machine learning, and it's going to get more and it's going to get more in depth because that deep learning, the machine learning, you're going to have a lot more of that in all industries, from the medical industry, manufacturing industry, okay, all the way to I don't know, to any industry actually, to the automotive, okay, beyond manufacturing. The AI is being utilized in vehicles, trucks. You have Tesla. I'm not mentioning the other company's name because I don't even know if they're a company anymore, even though GM made a deal with them. But you know what? When your executive chairman, takes a walk voluntarily, it becomes suspect. Anyway. So with that, machine learning, they need to self-learn. You can put platforms and everything and connect it to it, but it needs to learn on its own. And it learns from the data. And what's going to wind up happening is that smart cities are going to need this. You're going to have connectivity in cars as you have now, but you're going to have more of that, and those cars are going to be feeding information. Think about it. With what they're going to have in the vehicles, okay, the data has to be fed so that your navigation, know where you're going, know what's going on, the metrics, everything else. You lose internet connectivity, well, you're kind of lost. All right, and that's happened to all of us. You're driving, all of a sudden, boom, you have no internet. And you're driving. GPS is a different story. GPS is a different story. That works over satellites. So, 5G is going to be a cure for a lot of things. So you're going to have this technology, all these nodes and everything on the vehicles. And as they're driving through cities, you're going to have cities, smart buildings, smart homes that are going to have data points. They're going to be feeding information. You're going to have solar panels with nodes that are feeding information to the weather channel. You're going to have information coming from the buildings, from towers, and so on and so forth. All of this stuff is data. You're going to have zettabytes of data coming at you, or not coming at you, but just coming in general, and having the ability for this data to travel quickly to where it needs to be is important. Processing it's important. So you may need data on the fly, airplanes, things of that nature, need data immediately. Okay, so 5G helps to change that. Connectivity, speed, everything, processing, all this stuff happens. All right, so we're going to have a lot of this stuff going on, and as for investors, and whether you're a PE firm, venture capital firm, you have to go look at companies that are being disruptive, okay, and not in a way that you have them mimicking something else. They're bringing something to the table that's going to solve a potential problem later on, or they're looking at the connected world aspect. Okay, with big data, this is also very interesting. Big data. You can have businesses, municipalities, various groups and organizations that have a lot of data. All right. Now, what is the problem with that? They have the data. There's no central repository for data. So basically, you're going to have different implementation of data from whatever data sets that are coming forward, and for whatever companies. So they're going to create this stuff. All right, and what's going to happen? You're going to have a cornucopia of different applications for different data sets. It's going to get daunting, trust me on that. So, when you find companies that are solving that problem, those are the companies that are going to be the tomorrow companies. All right, you had companies that went public, and I spoke about this on the last episode, such as Snowflake and so when they went public, Snowflake was criticized for being too high priced, value too high. They're not making the money to support the valuation, so on and so forth. Listen, people, it's an IPO. Things happen. Things get hot and heavy. What I'm looking at is not what their revenue stream right now. You got to look at what they can do, what they possibly can do. Okay, does it mean you're going to jump in now? No, you're not going to jump in now. But the future prospects for a company like that is big. What I like about it is not so much what they do, is how it was developed. You had investors, VC funds, you had PE firms that came in and they invested, but they get their hands dirty. They brought things to the table. They brought things of value to the CEO. They worked with the CEO. They got them in front of people. They helped to get this company together, and that's the strength. If you go as an investor, and if you're not getting your hands dirty, then you are a passive investor. You are like an absentee landlord of a building. You're just using your funds to go get a piece of the pie, and you're hoping for the best. And you say, hey, kid, here goes a dime. Go make me $1. The bottom line is it doesn't work that way. In some cases, it happens that way. When you're talking about sustainability, companies that are going to grow, things that are going to happen for the future, you need a little more. And when you have investors that are looking to help, these are the investors you want. And and I'm talking about the private sector, all right? On the public sector, arena, look, you have a lot of companies out there that are trading. You have the Facebooks, the Googles, the Teslas. You have smaller companies, bigger companies. You have Microsoft that's been going gangbusters, and they're building their team platform even further because they're looking for the work from home crowd, and they're putting pressure on Slack. Okay, now with that, is Slack dead in the water? No, not by a long shot. They're going to evolve into something else, I'm sure. Their platform is what it is. You can't go head to head with a mammoth and expect to come out the winning end. You have to be different. You have to do something differently. Okay, and if they're doing exactly what you're doing, well, you may have some issues. So they may have to pivot to be different. Who knows? Okay, I'm not invested in the company. I'm not involved in the company. I'm just giving my viewpoint of it. And I think that if you're looking, again, at these companies, again, the companies that go and they create that conduit, that pathway for more connectivity, these are the winners. All right. When it comes to data, my concern is always security and privacy. And these issues will always arise, especially when more data is coming. Okay, people complain, my personal data, no privacy, so on and so forth. But you want something free, but you don't want to you don't want your data to be used. How are they going to make money? There'd be no Facebook, no Google. A lot of other companies wouldn't be around if they couldn't go and peddle your data for them to make money. They give you something free, they get something in return. All right, they give you some candy, then they get something in return. All right, so how the data is used on an individual basis, I don't know. There's always been a case that people should own their data. Yeah, you can own your data, but you're not going to get free stuff. I tell you that much. How many people are willing to pay for Facebook? Raise your hand. Yeah, you're not raising your hand, are you? So these are all things that come into play. All right. Having control of your data, it's a novel idea. It ain't going to happen. Okay, not for anyone. And as things get deeper and deeper, as much as everyone's going to be out there, unless you're living in the forest or in the jungle. You're hiding out. Other than that, you got a digital footprint. Trust me on that. Advertising in the digital age is going to be even bigger than it is right now. You're going to have machine learning. You're going to have, things that are going to be brought to the surface in Hollywood, let's say. They have things now, and they're going to have greater things where you can actually input certain product placement, items in a film. Okay, in a video game, you can, they have that, and they're going to have more of that, where you can actually go and, as an advertiser, advertise your product to whoever's playing the game, but it's not intrusive. It's part of the game, which is pretty cool. It's part of the game or part of the movie, and they're advertising to you, but it's so blended into it that you don't even notice it. Okay, that's the money shot, and it's happening. It's happening. Advertising will become more cost effective. That much I will tell you. And people are thinking, oh my God, should I not invest in advertising companies? No. If you have digital advertising companies, okay, they'll always have their place. Because when I say cost effective, it means that, all right, you have a Fortune 100 or whatever company that is going and they want to advertise on a platform. So usually that, let me give you an arbitrary number, that may cost them $1,000 a pop to do. Now just imagine having that same platform, and now it's only costing you $250. You're minimizing your advertising budget, but you can actually go and repurpose those funds to advertise on other platforms. So and also there'll be an opening for other companies, other advertisers to utilize these platforms and advertise them because they're cost effective. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Okay, you make things widely available at a cheaper rate, and people will use them. All right, so this is, and in gaming, I mean, the in-game advertising arena is going to be huge. And the reason it's going to be huge is because you have a lot of people playing games. All right, a lot of people. The one thing that I am opposed to is you have companies out there that created platforms for the educational system. At-home learning, so on and so forth. That advertising there is a no-no, should not be. Happens anyway, but the companies. Companies doing that. What's the gimme for them? Well, they have to find the gimme. If they are producing something, to help children, then you figure out how you're going to get it done, and without advertising to the schools or the children or anything like that. Anyway, I don't have any case studies of that. I'm just saying that it does happen. And look, edge computing is going to be big. I mentioned it with cars and smart buildings, smart cities. You're going to have the connectivity that's going to go from coast to coast, and you're going to have it go from country to country, and we're going to be one connected planet. It's going to be crazy, but it's going to help in the areas of logistics. It's going to help in the areas of of travel, of pretty much anything, manufacturing. You're going to have so much of this robotics, the machine learning, edge computing, all this stuff is going to come into play, and all of a sudden, boom. Okay, we are in a different world, and the stuff that you've only seen in Hollywood on movies, you're going to have right in front of you because you're going to be using it. And it's going to be interesting. Okay, so I'd look for companies that are in that world. Those are the ones that are going to be the tomorrow. Don't believe the hype when it comes to these SPACs that are just spinning out companies. They have big money coming into them. They're going and they're making investments in companies, and that's great. They're taking them public immediately. They're cashing out. They're going on to the next deal. All right. Reality. Okay. Just let the buyer beware. Just make sure that the companies they're dealing with have a future, have something going on that's going to allow you to reap the rewards later on. That's just my opinion. Anyway, that's about it for this episode of Money Never Sleeps Radio. I thank you again for being with me. We're going to start having guests on. This show is going to get more and more exciting. As you see, I have a little pep in my step today because I'm excited to do this show. I'm always excited to share my thoughts, my views with everyone. Okay, and you take from it what you will. But looking to have some guests on here to have their input on different areas. So we're going to start doing that. All right. Until next time, you guys have an awesome day, an awesome trading day, rest of the trading day, and have an awesome week. And we'll be back with you with Money Never Sleeps.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
You're listening to UCW Radio in your face.
What is your major malfunction?
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.
All opinions expressed by Luis Velazquez on the Money Never Sleeps radio show and its website are solely his opinions and do not reflect the opinions of the UCW radio show or their parent company or affiliates, and may have been previously disseminated by him on television, radio, internet, or another medium. You should not treat any opinion expressed by him as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a particular strategy, but only as an expression of his opinion. His opinions are based upon information he considers to be reliable, but neither the UCW radio show nor its affiliates, parent companies, and or subsidiaries warrant its completeness or accuracy, and it should not be relied upon as such. The UCW radio show, Luis Velazquez, its affiliates, parent companies, and or subsidiaries are not under any obligation to update or correct any information provided on the radio show or on the website. His statements and opinions are subject to change without notice. No part of his compensation from the UCW radio show is related to the specific opinions he expresses. Please read the full disclaimer on MoneyNeverSleepsRadio.com.